Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here. Murder Church coming at you on the new night, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Get used to it. That will be the second installment weekly of Murder Church. Normally Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for coming through. Really appreciate it. If you could, hit the like. That really helps us out here at PubliclyBuzzed. Give I posted this on X, on Twitter. Give that a share. That really helps us out as well. And yeah, really appreciate everyone just hanging out here tonight. We're going to come at you I'm coming at you right now.
Let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here to Murder Church. Again, Tuesday night. I feel weird saying that every time. I still haven't gotten used to it, even though we've been doing this for a minute now. Welcome in here. Hope everyone is having a good evening. Appreciate it. Let me look. I'm glad Botrix has actually woken up and decided to join us at a nice time this evening instead of randomly coming in later. Let me look in the chat here, see what's happening. I see a lot of folks already hanging and banging. That's what I'm talking about. Afton, Simi, Sweet Lou, Shelly Pokemon coming through. Oasis Cat coming through as well. Ember Burns, Sweet Lou in the house. PJ Wolf Wimmers in the house as well. Bobby Hanson, I see you out there. Debbie Blair, what's happening? What's happening? Tabby Cat. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Gail's in the house as well. I see you, Gail. I will not forget the bells. I'm glad that you said that, Simi. Let me go ahead and get the bells going because we got to start this son of a bitch off right.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
The bells.
This place is dead anyway, man.
Wrong one. I went too far right. Here we go. Got to start them right, baby. And Sweet Lou, the will is still in play. And after Murder Church on Sunday, on the replay crew, Pam came through and she gave $20 through Cash App that I want to say thank you so fucking much for. And she actually specified that she wanted that to go towards the Wig Fund. So she's putting that towards the Wig Fund, and her name will also be on the will. I just want to see where we're at right now with that, with the... where are we at? We are right now at... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the new will. I'm actually putting Pam on there right now because I did not do that on Sunday. So yeah, we're gonna keep rocking that as well. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on all the asses. That's right, baby. On all the apps, whether that's the Cash App, the PayPal, the Venmo, any of that comes through will also be on the will. Also, of course, anybody here that does not have memberships turned on, make sure those are turned on. We have an incredibly fine folks here that will be donating those probably as well. And when they do, they get on the will through donations that way. Or if you just give super chat, you guys are insane. One thing I do want to say, and I think Bonnie Bailey's the only one that has actually done it. She actually wanted the new Kool-Aid, the Murder Church cult shirt, and I'm gonna fulfill that one. I think she's the only winner that actually picked that shirt. But that's the only shirt that I am actually going to take away from the selection. That shirt for the company that I use, which is Printiful to post and then Big Cartel to actually sell with, Printful charges an extra $8 to use the print on the back, to put that Murder Church Cult on the back, which is silly. So I am going to have to remove that one from the picks in the future, just because it's a little bit extra crazy, I feel like. But otherwise, every other pick is, and everybody's picking the Buzz Mysteries, anybody. But I did want to put that out there, that I did not know that. I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to put something on the back for the first time. And I started looking, I was like, wait a minute, why is this one so much? Why am I, because I put all the shirts basically at the same exact price. Yeah, that's how that'll happen. So that's the only one I'm taking off of the picks. Everything else on the publiclybuzz.com is still up for grabs, though. All right, I've cracked a Steve Weiser wide open here, baby. Got a bad boy ready to go. Boom, cracked that. And we're going to jump in here, ladies and gentlemen. Where we left off on Sunday morning we're about to start with Archie Berghammer. I think I'm saying that correctly. House of Blues general manager takes the stand, and we're going to be with him for about an hour 15 here tonight, and then we're going to kind of fill it out after and see exactly where we're at. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. And yes, the Shag Mullet Fund. Sweet Lou knows. But yeah, we're going to get in here. We're going to start rocking and rolling, guys. And yeah, thanks for hanging out for Murder Church. Don't forget to hit that like ski, guys, and share it out on X as well.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
It's also dinner time here, so at some point I'm going to be going up and getting some food, and you guys can have dinner with me as well.
My name is Eric.
Tonight's been crazy. I've been running like crazy. Had to go get Gypsy some medicine. Hold on. I came home. I came all the way home from work with all the intentions to go to the pharmacy to get this medicine, get home, and then I realized, oh, fuck, I forgot that. Still had to fix dinner, so I ran back out, and I just got out of the shower as well, but we made it in the nick of time. We're rocking.
Berghammer is Berghammer.
Thank you. If you would sit back, put the microphone right underneath your chin, it'll be easier on you and we can hear you better. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. As a matter of housekeeping, there's a couple of items that I'd like
Alan
to
Jackson.
before I begin.
What's on today, baby?
8.5 by 11 appears to be photostatic copy of what's called a punch detail report. I believe Mr. Berghammer will give us a better idea of what a punch detail report is. People 16 for identification.
So marked.
There's a 3-page document, all 8.5 by 11 photostatic copies. They appear to be labeled Foundation Schedule. I'd like to have these marked in order, or cumulatively as people 17.
So marked.
For Wendy,
coming through here. Pam, I just now hollered out your $20 cash app for the Wig Fund. Thank you so much. And your last to go on the will. I think we're up to 5 names on the will. Pam.
This 3-page document.
Welcome in, everybody. Hit that like as you come through, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see everybody.
791.
Thank you.
Churches
There's also
you guys heard the bells, didn't you?
11 color photograph. On the bottom right, it indicates 9:11 p.m. That bears no significance other than identification purposes as people's 18.
So marked.
Thank you. And finally, there's is it a CD or DVD? I have a DVD that I'll mark in just a second with Wendy. It's actually in one of the computers. I expect to play 5 short clips from a surveillance video camera that are on the DVD.
So marked as 19.
Thank you. Mr. Berghammer, tell us what you do for a living, sir. Or let me ask it this way. What did you do for a living back in 2003?
In 2003, I was the general manager of the House of Blues on Sunset Boulevard.
How long had you been working for the House of Blues by February of 2003?
At that time, I think it was about 7 years. I was a general manager there.
As the general manager at the House of Blues, did you become familiar with the manner and mode in which the House of Blues kept their business documents and records of employment in the regular course of business?
Yes, sir.
Were there contracts of employment or offers of employment that were formalized on paper?
That's the truth.
There were job applications that were taken and job offers that were made verbally, and then the paperwork to fill it out.
In the weeks preceding the month of February 2003, was there an employee by the name of Lana Clarkson?
Yes, sir.
How long had Miss Clarkson been, or at what point had Miss Clarkson started at the House of Blues on Sunset?
Approximately 6 weeks prior to
February 3rd?
February 3rd, yes.
All right, take a look at the overhead. Your Honor, I believe this is People's 14 for identification.
I'll accept your representation. I only know, I just mark things as photos or records, so I'd have no way of knowing.
People's
Lana.
14. Mr. Berghammer, do you recognize the woman depicted in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
That's Lana.
When did you first meet Miss Clarkson?
I met Miss Clarkson probably a year prior to her working at
Ross the
House of
fuck
Blues,
out of that girl too,
more
though.
formally about the 6-week mark out.
Ultimately, were you her direct supervisor
I was like, you're gonna sit here and question me with that fancy little Superman curl
at the House of Blues?
Ultimately, I was, yes.
Did she report either through a chain of command or directly to you?
Well, it was through a dual reporting line, through her direct supervisor, the foundation room manager, but because of the sensitivity of the foundation room, and then ultimately to myself because of the high profileness of the foundation room.
All right. Describe for us, those of us who are uninitiated, what is the foundation room?
It was a private membership club where 25% of the membership fee went to the education of children. It was a 501c3 portion of the membership, and the room was designed for an intimate setting where, you know, executives and people of our industry could relax prior to a show.
Describe the clientele that were allowed membership at the foundation room.
Well, the clientele level would be an A-list Hollywood type of clientele is what we traditionally went after for our members.
Did you know Phil Spector?
Yes, sir.
How did you know him?
Well, I met him numerous occasions throughout my time at House of Blues.
What are you doing? Hey, lurkers out here. We love a lurker now.
Was in fact Mr. Spector a member of the foundation room?
Yes, sir.
What was the standing order for staff, either wait staff or bartenders or hostesses or security, with regard to the clientele at the foundation room?
To treat them with kit gloves.
Which means what? In the service industry, how do you describe that?
To exceed their expectations, to make sure that they that their desires and their experience at House of Blues exceeded their expectations from food, beverage, and service-related issues.
Did the House of Blues have a special entrance in the back for the foundation room?
Yes, sir.
Was there special security set up, Mr. Berghammer, for entrance and exit to and from the foundation room?
Yes, sir.
Was the foundation room open to the general public?
No, sir.
How did you facilitate, as the general manager, how did you facilitate the security, if you will, for this A-list clientele?
Well, we had two different levels of security. There was a security entrance at the bottom of the staircase that would be in the parking lot.
And I'm going to stop you right there and ask you to take a look at what's being displayed on the overhead. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this is, for the record, I believe it's People's 18 that's been previously marked, a photograph of it. Describe for the jurors, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but describe for the jurors what they're looking at with regard to the foundation room.
Currently, what they're looking at is the slope tin roof.
I need to change this guy's
is
name,
the
too.
tin roof directly above the entrance to what we would call the foundation room entrance. There would be a security guard with a podium directly there with a list that would check off our members and or wristband them to make sure that they could get to the private elevator to take them to the 3rd floor.
So this might be the first point of entrance, some of us might consider the first velvet rope, correct?
Yes, sir.
Beyond which the normal guy like myself might not be able to get past, correct? Oh, you can say it, Mr. Berghammer. Absolutely, you can say it. I don't take offense.
Absolutely.
All right, once inside...
It's the one time.
Taking enough abuse over here. Once
This
past that...
they like to. I mean, this is half a comedy act right here. This murder trial for Lana Clarkson it's almost like a comedy, a little night show for us as well.
particular security point, what does one find inside that either
have a riot in here
or
real
whatever's
quick.
inside?
There is one.
You know who doesn't laugh though? This motherfucker right here, dude. He ain't laughing one bit. He's just staring with his creepy ass little fucking live shot of Phil. Ghoul Phil Spector staring deep into your fucking soul. And I'm gonna say it again. I know Phil Toy's already clipped it out here. This fucking prick.
One more security individual on the interior of that would funnel the foundation members to the private elevator that would take them to the 3rd floor.
Welcome in here, everybody. Get that light ski as you come through the door, please.
On the 3rd floor, we had our green rooms, which would hold our bands and their executives. We would have the foundation room, and then there would be my office.
Creepy feel.
Is there another entrance? Well, is the foundation room literally, and I noticed that the House of Blues is multi-level, correct?
3 floors.
All right. Is the foundation room actually on the top level?
What's actually on Sunset Boulevard, the building is built on a slope.
Okay.
So what you're seeing actually is 3 levels below Sunset Boulevard.
So I'm not looking at the side of the House of Blues on which the foundation room sits.
On the 3rd floor of this is the foundation room that would face the Los Angeles skyline.
You see this stairway?
Correct, that takes you to the 3rd floor.
Right there.
Yes.
Okay, so that might be either an entry point or an exit
Messaging
point for someone
Cassie
going
right now to stir the chili.
up or down
The staircase.
the staircase as opposed to the elevator.
Chili, baby.
What was Lana Clarkson's job in 2003, specifically February of 2003?
She was hired to be what we call the door host. That was responsible for a bit of security, but more of guest relations.
What did that include? What does guest relations include?
Her job responsibilities, more than anything, was to make sure that she greeted our members, making sure that she connected eye contact with them and welcomed them into the room. Also checking for proper credentials, because there were people on occasion from band green room that might want to get in the room that didn't have a wristband that would allow them in. So her job would also...
I mean, like, that's just Phil Spector. That's just how he looks at every single person at all times. Like, he has no reason to be even doing double glares to this man, right?
be identifying people going in and out of the room.
Was she under the aegis of the security portion of the House of Blues employment, or the wait staff, or...
I can't even do it.
It would be, she was under
My
the security
face actually contorts a little.
umbrella.
Were there other members of security for the House of Blues?
Yes, sir.
Describe the security in general, if you would.
Well, the venue had 13 entrances and exits, so we had quite a large staff of security, up close to 50 at times, but for the most part on the 1st and 2nd floor, security more were individuals that handled the general public for shows. They handled more life safety issues, crowd control, making sure people properly had tickets, things like that. On the 3rd floor, the individual that we hired for that needed a little bit different of a decorum, the ability to handle high-profile members and be able to communicate with them.
I know. I will say this. Pammy, first of all, coming through here with a $4.99 in the house. Pammy also getting on that wheel again. I'm going to be big time disappointed if an Afro wig doesn't make an appearance. Just saying, I am afraid that I don't know this. Oh, first of all, let me hold on. I've got this all fucked up. Jeez. But I don't know this for sure, so don't take this as gospel. But I'm afraid that I don't know how. This is a 6-month trial, so I don't know if he keeps this wig the entire time. But I'm afraid some of the wigs that we're seeing maybe online, and maybe even some of the ones I'm showing here, could be from the 2nd trial. I do fear that. So just beware. But that's why I wanted to show off some more of these wigs like this. We can jump around. We can look at this fool in different types of wigs. And hell, I'm going to be getting... I'll get a red fro. I'll get a red fro for you, Pam. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me give you a little love also. Thanks so much, Pam. Appreciate that. Names going on here. We're, I think, 6 names from a spin now. I'm halfway there. Get you on here before I forget, though. Thank you.
Them in a more professional manner.
Is that what Lana Clarkson was specifically hired for?
Yes, sir.
So the security that would handle crowd control, for instance, might be big guys.
That would be a good way to put it, yes.
Bouncers.
We didn't really have a bouncer mentality. It was more of a crowd control, making sure people were safe and just keeping people. But if indeed they had to step in and handle something that went south, that they had the ability to do that.
That specifically was not what Lana Clarkson was hired to do, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. I mentioned in my opening remarks when I was marking a couple of items of evidence, of potential evidence for identification, a punch detail report. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
I'm gonna. Okay. Go ahead and just
FOMO of missing out on Frobro.
the top portion of that. See? 16.
I do too. I hope that I'm wrong.
Okay.
Hope that I'm
Your Honor,
wrong.
may I approach it? The witness has a problem reading this. I don't know if you can read what's up there, but I've got
Shit,
now you look like you're gonna strain. You would like to
Gail,
see this
coming
copy?
through this mother. Let's go, Gail. $5. Getting on that wheel. Thank you, Gail. Appreciate that.
This is People 16. Take a look at that. Get this out of your way. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That's a punch detail report that would come from our point of sale system and our time-keeping system.
On that punch detail report, does that indicate when employees, certain employees, punch in and punch out for the night?
Yes, sir.
Does the punch portion refer to the old-fashioned punch clocks?
Yes, sir.
All right. In fact, nowadays it's computerized, correct?
Yes.
Does that punch detail report? Should we go ahead and?
Oh, shit. Oksana getting a gifted membership from Gail as well. Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Welcome to the party, pal.
That's what I like to see, Gail. Get the fuck in here, Oksana. And I am, I think as soon as this episode's over, I'm probably going to get, at least it started tonight. So tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to have something exclusive from what I did on Saturday for Patreon. And then the very next day for members. So Oksana, keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't seen the 2 new videos that I just dropped for members only, please watch those as well. Thank you, Gail. Appreciate the shit out of that. In here. Let's go. Beers in the chat. We get new members. Get them beers. Get them J's. Get them liquor drinks out here, baby. Get them drinks out here. Welcome in. Welcome them in. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Welcome them in.
Does that punch detail report indicate anything having to do with employee
9 months. Are you
Lana
kidding
Clarkson?
me? What the fuck?
Yes, sir.
That's insane.
Describe that for us, please.
Thanks for enriching my life.
It has the name of our crew
Shelley?
member and also the
You're
crew
awesome as
ID, which was handed to each crew member when they were hired. It would have the date of their actually
We have a
working.
good time now.
Okay.
It
That's
would have
one
the
thing
time
they
in
can't take away from us.
that they would clock in. And the time out when they would clock out of the POS, which is a point of sale system,
Crow,
which we use also
$3.
for
Getting on that
timekeeping
wheel,
records.
baby. I see ya.
It would have their position. This has foundation door host / security. They would have their pay rate, their regular time and their overtime, and any miscellaneous type of pay and or hour information.
Does that punch detail report refer to the date of February 2nd, going into the early morning hours of February 3rd, 2003?
Yes, sir.
Is that document kept in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
Are you familiar with how that document is prepared?
Yes, sir.
Could you describe that briefly, how it's prepared? How does the information get onto that document?
Well, at the beginning of every week, our managers pre-program the point of sale system where their schedules are kept. So they're kept within the system, and then a crew member a schedule would be created from this. It would be handed out to the staff members as well as being posted. The crew members then would come for their shift and they would be able to punch in. If they were not scheduled, they would not be able to punch in. And then at the end of their shift, they would punch out.
And these documents are kept at or near the time, or they're prepared at or near the time of the event, for instance, the same week of or day of even the
Well,
event?
this document is created every night. When we close the point of sale system, it would print a daily detailed report.
Mr. Berghammer, what time did Lana Clarkson punch in to go to work on February 2nd, 2003?
It shows 6:02 p.m.
And what time does it show that she punched out for the end of her shift?
at 2:21.
Is that the next morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that would be on on February 3rd, 2003, correct?
Yes, sir.
Taking a look at People's 17, the foundation schedule, you're on with permission to let me show them. I'm going to show you the actual document. It's a 3-page document.
Tiff
You
Knox.
recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
This is our weekly schedule that we create for our show scheduled events
LS,
going on in
what's
our
up?
foundation room and our staff members their schedule.
Yeah, I
Does
get it
that
too.
also show, well, I guess that last phrase answered
Well
my
said,
question. That document also shows the scheduling for each individual, where they're going to be, what time they're expected to be in and out, and what shift they're working.
Yes, sir.
Is this kept in the regular course of business as well at the House of Blues?
Yes, sir.
Or it was
Hard
at
to
the
read that
time in
anyways.
2003?
Yes.
And was this prepared at or near the time of the event? In other words, to the week prior or the day prior of the actual scheduled event?
Yes, sir.
And obviously, the information on this document, it's important to maintain its accuracy to make sure that all shifts are covered, et cetera, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does this look like a true and accurate copy of the foundation room schedule for the week of, well, at some point, I can't read it as well as you can. Looks like January to,
2/2.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, you have to, excuse me, you have to be very careful when talking over someone. The reporter cannot separate voices. All right.
Thank you. Go ahead and explain that for us since I can't figure
It
it out.
started on Monday, 1/27, all the way through Sunday, 2/2.
All right. And is there a part of that document, if not on the first page, part of that document that
I need a
indicates
probably
Lana
nothing. I'll tell you that.
Clarkson's
I haven't had any
schedule,
probably nothing this entire day.
For that particular
time
week,
for one of those.
specifically February
Before
2nd,
dinner. That's
2003.
right.
It was
When I get on here, I
Yes,
get
it
hyped
does.
up though. Like,
And
you
where is
have to
that?
calm down. It's weird.
On page,
I wish I had time to eat
on
before. I
page
did not
2.
tonight.
okay.
on the far right corner.
That's where I fucked up with that initial trip. I'd lost 30 minutes having to go back out to get that medicine. for Gypsy.
Line from the bottom.
And if you look on the overhead, there's the second line
Ain't
from
enough
the
time
bottom
in the
is
day,
just
my
been highlighted.
friends.
Whose name is that?
Lana Clarkson.
And you indicated far right corner, meaning the box to the far right.
Yes.
And what's the time, I'm sorry, yeah, what's the time that's indicated on that?
6 p.m.
What does that indicate?
It says 6 p.m. top, which means that 6 p.m. was her starting time, and top meant that she was at the door of the foundation room.
Which is what you've already explained, kind of being the greeter or hostess for the foundation room guests.
Yes, sir.
Shit, Sweet Lou giving one out. Who's going to grab that one? Real quick. Who's going to grab that son of a bitch? Rachel C. Get in here, Rachel. Hell yeah. Sweet Lou, thank you so much. Sweet Lou's been amazing. Sweet Lou earlier shared out on the old X machine the show for tonight. Appreciate that, Sweet Lou. And there you can see, anytime we get any new members here, we give out the brewskis, we give out the hell yes, we give out the liquor drinks, we give out the little tornadoes that might be joints. I don't know. I didn't say that. You didn't hear that. Bo Pete's in the house as well. Get in here, Bo Pete. But any new members that do get any of those gifted out tonight, go and check out the 2 new videos that you have access to on Publicly Buzzed, and those are going to continue to flow. I'm getting the rhythm going with those. I've had a lot of good feedback on those. Gail gave you a lighter to light that sumbitch up with. That's what I'm talking about.
Holding what appears to be a credit card receipt and or House of Blues ticket.
Put you on the list, Sweet Lou. Hold on.
It's been previously marked as People's 13.
All right.
May I approach the witness briefing? You may need to look at this a little bit more closely as well. And I'll take that from you. Mr. Berghammer, do you recognize that document that you're holding, the copy of which is displayed on the overhead?
Yes, sir.
What is that document?
That is a POS guest check that gets created when orders are made for a guest.
Is that kept in the regular course of business?
Yes, sir.
Is there some reason why the House of Blues would insist on accuracy when creating these types of checks?
Yes, sir.
Describe that for us, please.
There's twofold. One, for inventory purposes.
I actually fucked up. I did not put Gail's. I put Gail's $5 on the list, but not the gifted membership to Axana. So I'm gonna put that on here right now. So hell yeah. Sorry about that, Gail. I was just looking. I'm like, wait a minute, something's off here. Something's off.
For us to be able to go ahead and track where product is distributed. And second, for any guest disputes that we might have over a guest check.
Based on your review of this document, can you tell? Based on your review of this document, can you tell
Susan
when the document
just sent
was
me
generated?
$20. Holy fuck.
The document was generated at
Craziness.
1:59
Okay.
a.m.
Put that, Susan,
On
get me on the
what
list
date?
right now.
on February 3rd.
How can you tell that?
It states it on the top of the guest check.
Oh, shit.
Is that date and time calibrated to the actual date and time? How would you ask that question? Let me try it again. Is that an accurate date and time?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so it's calibrated to the computer.
Yes.
What does one Bacardi
One away from a spin.
8.50
One away from a
mean?
spin, baby.
Bacardi 151 would be the product that was purchased, and 850 was the price that we charged at that time for it.
Do you see at the bottom of that document there appears some writing, P. Spector?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what that represents or what that stands for?
That represents the guest and their credit card.
Did you know whether or not Philip Spector, well, let me ask it this way. Is there another Philip Spector that belonged to the foundation room?
No, sir.
All right. Do you see Philip Spector in the room right now?
Yes, sir.
Where is he seated and what is he wearing?
He's seated across the room from me. He's wearing a lavender shirt and a tuxedo jacket.
Indicating Mr. Spector for the record.
Thank you. Is this the man that you've been talking about being a member of the foundation room?
Yes, sir.
Being the only member of the foundation room named P. Spector, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, hey, take that from me. Thank you, sir. There is a
Holy shit. Holy shit. Hello Spring rounding out that last wheel spin with a $9.99 super chat right after Susan came through my motherfucking Cash App with a $20 drop off. Holy crap, guys. Seriously. Probably, I would imagine in this hour 15 we're going to go to cross, but anytime I feel like I've got a little bit of a break here, we'll do a wheel spin. Hell yeah. I've actually got, never mind. We will, but I've got to get the freaking names on the wheel, so I'm going to be doing that. Thank you guys so much. Let's go. Jay coming through. What's up, dude?
Take one more look at a second document that appears to be a guest check of some kind or a credit card receipt. There have been some deletions on this receipt concerning.
Have you had the Berg hammer yet, bud?
Does this appear to be a true?
Have you seen Arch drop the Berg hammer? Huh? He drops it, baby.
Copy of a House of Blues, West Hollywood.
Before I embarrass myself anymore.
Credit card receipt.
Welcome in, everybody.
Yes. And how can you tell that?
Yeah, RX Girl. Yeah, I was hoping to see you. Either through my email, publiclybuzzed@gmail.com, or if you have Twitter or X, you can private message me there. Or, I mean, if you have Facebook, I have Publicly Buzzed there as well. Wherever you can get me, but, email is probably the best. Publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. Send me your shirt, send me your Addy, and I'll get her going. Welcome in, everybody.
On the top, and then subsequent information that would support that.
Taking these two documents together, may I approach one more time? You may. I want you to look at them side by side. Taking these two documents together, do they appear to comport with one another? In other words, the credit card receipt appears to comport with the guest check.
Yes, sir.
And how can you tell that?
Through the guest check number 3682 and the table number in our server.
All right. And the server was who?
Sophia.
Sophia Holguin?
Yes, sir.
All right. May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
You may.
Your Honor, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination. I'd like to take, how long do you think your cross is going to take? I'd like to finish the witness and then take a break. Unless
About perfect timing for a wheel spin.
Do you plan on being lengthy? You're thinking about it. We'll take our recess. Ladies and
But I
gentlemen.
haven't got it set up, so it sucks.
No. Keep in mind the admonition, sir. Step down. We'll take about 10
So we're
or
going to keep
15 minutes.
rolling.
Don't discuss your
I'm
case
gonna
with
get these
anyone
names
except
on
the
here.
attorney or just your testimony. Thank you. All parties, jurors, alternates, and the witness are present as heretofore. You
And
wish
then
to
we will break when I get these on here to get a wheel spin going. So
open.
that's right.
I do, Your Honor.
All right.
Completely forgot about the DVD that I mentioned and marked. I think it's People's 19. I'd asked the witness to take a quick glance at an additional item that I'd like to mark as next in order for identification.
People's 20?
20.
Okay.
This simply includes 3 still photographs, and then I'm going to ask him if he recognizes these as compared to the videos that he's about to see.
All right.
May I approach?
You may.
Thank you. Take a look at these still photographs, Mr. Berghammer, and tell me if you recognize those three stills.
Yes, sir, I do.
How do you recognize them?
There are 3 photographs of different parts of the House of Blues.
Do you recognize the cameras or the perspective from which these photographs are taken?
Yes, sir.
Was there a security camera system, if you will, installed at the time of February 2nd, February 3rd, 2003?
Yes, sir.
Are these stills, or do these stills appear to be taken from the video camera, the surveillance camera that was in place at that time?
Yes, sir.
Concerning the lighting conditions and what appear to be pretty poor quality photographs, can you describe what that video system entailed as far as the camera system is concerned?
I don't quite understand the question. I'm sorry about that.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, have you reviewed, in your capacity as the general manager, have you reviewed many of these many
shit,
of the footages
Jay, you
yes,
son of
on
a
the House
bitch.
Blues
I got you,
security
dude.
system?
Yes, sir.
And did you notice, or have you noticed any problem with color?
Well, routinely what we would find was that that dark coloring cloth often would come up light, either gray or sometimes white.
Why is that?
Because it was a nighttime camera system, because most of the action within our venue was done in the evening, so low lighting candles and/or during a show where the lights would be very reduced.
All right. With regard to those cameras, or the cameras that I'm gonna have you take a look at, the footage that I'm gonna have you take a look at in just a second. Is that almost a low
Ginger,
light
what's
camera?
up? What's going on?
Almost like
Welcome
an
in
Like an
here.
infrared camera, yeah.
All right. So
You got this
my
ready.
suit,
I'm gonna wait for
although
Jackson to
dark
get
brown
done.
in color, might not look this same hue on this camera, correct?
It could, it could come up
Wheels
as the
spinning
top being dark and the bottom being
smoothly.
light, based upon the coloration of the dark.
All right. Take a look. This may be very difficult for the jurors to see, but I think you have a better view of it in front of you. Do you see in photograph A of People's 20 a woman at the lower right part of the screen?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
That's Lana.
Is that Lana Clarkson?
Yes, sir, Lana Clarkson.
The view in photograph B and the view in photograph C, where does that appear to be taken?
That is taken from a door that we call the loadout door, from going into the parking lot, which load in, load out, where we often would have our guests go into the music hall area. There was a camera facing down towards the foundation entrance.
Okay. Taking a look at the lower two views, B and C on People's 20, do you recall the photograph that was previously marked as People's 18? I'll get it up on the overhead in just a second. You see that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Does the lower photographs, the lower stills, B and C, appear to be taken of the same general area that this photograph is taken?
Yes, but up about 200 yards,
Just from a different perspective?
just from a different perspective.
All right. With that, Your Honor, if I may, there's no sound on any of these videos, so there's nothing to worry about transcribing. I'd like to play the videos in total and then ask the witness. Actually, I'll ask him a foundational question before we begin. Have you ever seen the video clips that I'm about to play?
Yes, sir.
You're assuming I'm about to play the same ones that I showed you
I'm
upstairs?
assuming, yeah.
Do they have time and date stamps on them?
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you the further questions when we get finished. I'm going to play 5 clips for you in order, if you don't mind.
See what we can see here.
As this is playing, Mr. Berghammer, let me ask you about the bottom portion of this video that indicates February 3rd, 2003, 1:44 and counting.
Yeah, I saw your
What does
Crocs
that
today,
indicate?
Jay. Those are
That
pretty
would
pip,
be the
man.
date and the timestamp that the video was taken.
And is that maintained accurately and calibrated to the actual time and date?
Yes, sir.
Love you, Bobby.
Does this appear where it says Olive Drive and top. Does this appear to be a video camera perspective from the top portion of the house of blues, not the bottom parking lot portion?
Actual
this would be the
hill.
entrance to the parking
That's
lot.
probably
where it
actual
would be the
purgatory.
entrance to the Porch Restaurant.
All right, and you saw individuals get out of what appeared to be a dark black car?
Correct.
And then get back in the car and drive away?
Yeah.
Second video. What is this perspective, Mr. Berghammer?
That is from what we call the load in and out door, facing towards the foundation podium.
And you see where it says FR bottom from load in? Does that
Yes.
mean foundation room bottom?
Yes, sir.
Is the fa-
It would be facing foundation bottom from load in and out door.
All right. Do you see an individual standing there in what appears to be a long white jacket?
Yes.
Do you recognize that person?
Nice.
If you don't, just say so.
I do not.
Okay. Do you see where it appears to be a little bit blown out, in other words, overexposed? Were those brake lights?
Those are brake lights,
All
yes.
right. They
Because the
appear
car's
whi-
facing going downhill.
And it appears white on this based on the infrared nature of the camera taking the shot?
Yes, sir.
And just
Got
in
you,
before we
Eric's
get to the
girl.
next clip, just to the left of that, in other words, where the individuals appear to be walking, would they have been walking into or toward the foundation room entrance?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The third clip. Does this appear to be the same camera angle, but just at a different time? Now we're at 1:58 and counting,
That's correct.
and that's 1:58 in the morning, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you see what appears to be a black Mercedes in the foreground?
Yes, sir.
And do you see a person getting out of that Mercedes?
As the video clip goes, I see somebody.
Do you see a person with his hand on the back door?
Yes, sir.
All right. The
Opening.
door is opening.
Yeah, somebody getting in it.
Does that appear to be a female with short blonde hair?
Yes.
All right. I want you to pay attention to this portion of the screen for just a second, if you wouldn't mind. Do you see the person with the blonde hair, dark jacket, knee-length skirt?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen other still photographs of that person?
Yes,
It's
sir.
hard
Who
to
is
see
that?
anything.
That is Lana Clarkson.
And she appears to be standing at that location close to the, I'm going to say shoe shine booth?
That's what it was called, yes.
Okay. The fourth clip, please.
It's hard to see anything in the footage.
Finally, what is this, well, not finally, second to last, what is this view of?
That is from the upper left corner of the foundation room. It's a security camera angle overseeing the bar and kind of the middle area of the foundation room.
Do you see the female kneeling on a bar stool attempting, somewhat unsuccessfully, to blow out a candle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you see the
I
timestamp
see it, I
as
see it.
2:03 and counting?
Yes, sir.
Who is that female?
That's Lana Clarkson.
Yo, Johnny, what's up, bro? Welcome in here, man. I ain't got a chance to check out that video you posted in the Discord, but it looks interesting.
Mr. Berghammer, I'd like you to direct your attention to this portion of the bar for just a second and tell me when you see Ms. Clarkson reappear in this shot.
Right
Is that her?
Yes, sir.
And she's walking through toward the camera?
Yes, sir.
All right. And finally, the last clip.
Yo, Lakota, what's up?
Does this appear to be that same camera angle?
Yes, sir.
The foundation room bottom load in, load out?
Yes.
And do you see a black car with what appears to be brake lights on?
Yes, sir.
Do you see Ms. Clarkson in the center of the shot right there,
Yes, I do.
standing behind what appears to be the dark car?
Uh-huh.
Do you recognize the person she's standing with? Does it look like anybody you know?
Not off the top of my head.
All right.
Sorry.
That person is wearing a long white jacket.
From what I would know that to be would be Mr. Spector.
All right. Do you see the two individuals,
What is he
Lana Clarkson
wearing
and the
in
other
this
individual standing to the right of the car?
Yes, sir.
We need to know.
The brake lights just went out.
Yes.
Do you see Ms. Clarkson and another individual proceeding to the left side of the car?
Yes, sir.
And did you see a person get in the right side?
Yes, sir.
Did that appear to be a driver getting into the front seat?
Yes, sir.
What does the black car appear to be doing at 2:25:05 and counting?
It's backing up the parking lot to go out the other side and leave and exit.
Was there, Mr. Berghammer, any method in place for both male and female employees to get to their car after leaving it at very late hours like this?
Yes, there was two different methods. One, we had a crew van, which was supplied by our valet company, that would take our crew members to our off-site parking structure, and as well as if crew members had chose to park in a different area, that the managers would and security would walk them to their car.
Taking a look at the photograph that's been previously marked as People's 18 for identification, can you tell me where that crew van was normally situated at the end of an evening to shuttle employees back and forth?
Well, directly across from, adjacent to this entrance, right? I'm sorry if I could show you this. The exhibit here has a rider van. It would have been on the right side of that. It's always found on the corner of the parking lot.
May the record reflect that the witness is pointing to photograph C in People's, I believe that's People's 20. There's a rider van.
No, this is the general manager of I think the Hard Rock Cafe. No, House of Blues. House of Blues.
Let's go to C. May I push? I think it's just easier suited to use the Elmo. We sure do.
If I'm not mistaken, is where long word.
You were indicating in
I'm guessing that was footage.
this photograph C, which is now displayed on the overhead, an area to the right of the rider van. In other words, if that van were...
Hold on. I can make this one a little better, because I do blow this up a bit so it's not as weird. Show this.
Not there, you might see the shuttle van or the passenger van to the right of that. Is that correct?
It would be a white van.
And that's the van that was normally situated to shuttle both male and female
Crew members.
staff members, crew members to and from their off-site parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
All right, before we start up the cross, is going to be
I introduced myself to you.
Of course it is, and he's going to be giving us some lame fucking joke. Haha, no one gives a fuck. We're going to do a wheel spin real quick, though, everybody. Strychnine, get in here. Yeah, Halle Berry knows what we're doing, baby. Yeah, let's get a wheel spin going. Let me show you guys real quick. There's the wheel and my terrible writing. We're going to do it. Let's go. Give me a sec. Gil! Get in that son of a bitch! Gail, you don't want that thing, Gail. God, look at it. Look how close it is. Cat Grow, look at that. It's like, you can tell that it's like about to pop. Like, I've never even seen it this, like, crazy. Like, that's about to pop. Holy shit. Gail's got that son of a bitch, though. Gail's got it. Get in here, Gail. Gail, yeah, send me where I need to send this thing, and then send me anything from the merch store except for the Kool-Aid shirt. The Kool-Aid shirt is now off limits. The last Kool-Aid shirt to go out was to our ex-girl. I'm going to honor that one. She just came through and got it. I'm going to honor that one because she won so early, but the Kool-Aid shirt is off balance just because they charge an extra $8 to have the Merc Church Cult writing on the back, which is insane. And I feel like it's breaking the bank a little bit. But anything else on the publiclybuzzed.com, I'm going to put the link in the chat there. pick it, send it to me. Gail, congratulations. Let's
You
go.
have the break, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Jackson asked you a bunch of
Yeah, I
questions.
didn't even realize that.
And now it's my turn.
Like, started looking all this in because I'm just ordering these, right, and then sending them out, and I was like, why is this one so much? Because I was also basically priced them all the same. Now, if you look, it's a little bit more. Like, I was like, then it's literally just this 3 words, a couple of letters on the back. It's absolute madness. But
Okay. And
so I'm going to take that one off. No, you're good. No, you're
Berghammer's
good. And I'm playing this. I'm playing the video while I'm just here live by myself. No, you're good. RX girl, you're good. You're one of the early winners. Are you kidding me? No, you're good to go.
I understand it, back in February,
Gail,
you were
I'm
the
putting your
general
name
manager
down.
of the
Just give me
House
that
of
information, baby.
Blues on
We'll go.
Sunset, and you had been the general manager for
Thanks, everybody, for hanging.
approximately
Appreciate
7
it.
years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first thing I want to ask you is this. On February 3rd,
It's insane.
2003, is my understanding that you were not on premises. Is that correct?
That is
No,
correct.
you're good,
In other
RX
words,
girl. I
you were
got
not
you.
at the House of Blues that morning, correct?
That evening, I was not.
That evening and that morning. The morning of 2003.
That's correct.
Okay, excuse me, February 3rd,
So cool.
2003.
Glad Gail won.
So
Gail's a
the
huge
clips that
supporter
you're-
here, dude. I don't even know. This is either the 5th or 6th wheel. I can count the winners right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's the 8th winner. All right, so we've had 8 wheel spins. She has been donating on each one of these wheels. Gail, killing it.
You're
Love it,
looking
Gail.
at, you are witnessing those as a spectator. You weren't there personally to see that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And when was the last time you had been in the foundation room at the House
My
of
favorite
Blues
reaction.
prior to February 3rd? Was it the day before, or a couple days before, or when?
That morning,
That morning. Okay. What time did you leave the premises that day?
I left about 1 o'clock that
Kayla
day.
was lurking back
with that-
there. Kayla was like, she was on that wheel too,
The
Kayla.
1 a.m. or 1 p.m.?
1 p.m., right
One-
after gospel brunch. It was a Sunday.
Love you
That was
guys.
a
Thanks,
Sunday.
y'all.
And when did you return?
The following Monday
Wheels
morning, about 9 a.m.
Okay, so from 1 p.m. on Sunday to 9 a.m. on Monday, you weren't there.
That's correct.
All right. And
We got some really cool merch too. Super cool shirt.
let's take a look at these clips if we can. Now, as I understand it, these are just clips, right? Portions of the tape. Am I correct in assuming that the tapes on these surveillance cameras, they literally run constantly? Is that right?
Yes, they do.
All right, so I'm going to go up and maybe get another beer, maybe get a bowl of chili, definitely use the bathroom, check on Gypsy. I'll be right back. I love you guys.
And that's for security reasons and also for protection reasons, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's take a look at number 1.
Look at him!
Sudi?
Look at him!
And where, as it goes, I'm going to ask you, where is this
psychopath.
in terms of the building itself?
It would be on the entrance, for lack of a better term, to the right of this by about 10 feet would be the entrance to the parking lot. That is at the crest of the hill going down into.
The gentleman in the white jacket, do you see him?
Yes, sir.
And you see him walking around?
Yes.
Do you see, when you see him, is that Mr. Spector, as far as you can tell?
As far as I can tell, yes.
Okay. And in this clip, we see him get out of the vehicle, walk around, walk up towards, I guess, the stairway area, and then walk back in the
Yes, sir.
car. Is that correct?
Yes.
You didn't see him fall or stumble on this video, did you?
No, sir.
And you didn't see him having any trouble with his motor skills getting out of the vehicle or getting back into the vehicle, did you?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. And there it appears that the vehicle is now leaving the scene. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. With your help, Sue, please, clip number 2. And here we're looking at clip number 2. We see the Mercedes pulling up, correct? And the white flashes, that's the brake lights.
Those are the brake lights, yes.
You indicated that black comes out white because it's an infrared type camera. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yet in this, you can see Mr. Spector. You see him walking. Is that, yes?
Yes, sir.
We have to say yes or no.
I apologize.
That's okay, no problem. I know you're not used to it. His coat appears to be white, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we see him get out of the vehicle and on the screen go to the left, is that right?
Yes.
And there's a little curb area there, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
And he walked up over the curb area and disappeared out of our view, correct?
That's correct.
And you didn't see him have any trouble walking or negotiating the curb and going out of our view, did you?
No, sir.
let's take a look, if we could, for a moment at clip number 3, which is 158 hours. Okay? And here I think you indicate, again, brake lights on the vehicle, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's not, the brake lights are not the Mercedes, is it?
No, sir.
The Mercedes is parked in the lower left here, and you see somebody getting out of the Mercedes at this time, correct?
That's correct.
I think Mr. Jackson answered that, but he had already gotten that when you looked up. And now that individual has his hand on the door, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which would be the rear left door, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we see the door open, correct?
Yes.
And we see someone get in, is that right? You don't know who that person is?
No, sir.
Okay. And the door is shut, and that individual who opened the door for that person gets in the car himself, is that correct?
Yes.
And that looked like it was a male, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the brake lights come on, and again, they're white, and the car leaves, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, as I understand, all these clips came from the videos of the security cameras that are at the House of Blues for that moment, correct?
That's correct.
And before I get to the next step, do I understand it correctly that you have an integrity system in place and did in February of 03 to keep these tapes? Is that right?
When you say integrity system, I don't know what that means.
Well, in other words, when the tape is finished, you have a way of removing it from the camera and storing it appropriately, and then you put a new tape in the camera, right?
That's correct.
And that's what was done with this?
Yes, sir.
As far as you know?
As far as I know.
Okay, you're not the custodian of record for the tapes and the cameras, I assume?
I don't think I am.
I don't think so either, but I needed to ask.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Berghammer, thank you. Could we please take a look at clip number 4 now? Okay. Now, this is the first clip that we take a look, which is inside the structure, is that right?
That's correct.
And this is the foundation room, do I understand that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Do you see the Buddha room here?
The Buddha room is not in this photograph.
All right, so this is just a shot of the foundation room itself, is that right?
The main room.
Okay. And as you take a look at that, I think you told Mr. Jackson that you do, in fact, see Miss Clarkson, and she, as he said correctly, appears to be trying to snuff out that light of that candle. Is that a candle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she's not having a lot of success, it looks like, but ultimately she does get it out. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. You don't see Mr. Spector in any of these photos here?
No, I do not.
He's not in this clip at all, is he?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll play it out and then we'll go to clip 5. It has to play out, Your Honor, because Sudi explained to me if she interrupts it, it goes back to 1. While we're waiting for that to play out, I think you said that the atmosphere in the foundation room is low light, soft, kind of like a place where people can relax.
Yeah, very lively.
And while we're waiting for this to play out, would you share with the jury, in February of 2003, in order to be a member of the foundation room, there was a fee required, or a due required, or a membership fee required, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And that was approximately $2,000 at that time, wasn't it?
That is correct.
And if I understand it right, a portion of that would be donated to the charity for the children, is that right?
To our International House of Blues Foundation.
Okay, and that's to benefit underprivileged children, correct?
Yeah, 3 times a week we would bring children in from the inner city to do a music program and teach them about the roots of slave trade and music and how it affected today.
Mr. Berghammer, as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, that when somebody wants to become a member of the foundation room, that's explained to them so that they know a portion of their membership fee is going to go to this charity.
That's correct.
And you do that, or I should say the House of Blues does it as a policy decision so that there's nothing hidden and everybody understands when they join that is the charity the money is going to.
That is correct.
Would you tell the jury, please, how much at that time, and as best you can recall, we chatted a little bit about this over the break, as best you can recall, how much of that $2,000 at that time went to the children's charity?
I'm pretty sure at that time, it had changed over the years. It was either, I think it went to 25% of the membership.
Okay, so $500 of the $2,000 would have been the donation to the charity.
That would be correct.
Okay, and as I understand it from you, and I just learned that this afternoon, prior to that, there was actually a larger percentage, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
At one time, it was 50%, correct?
That's correct.
Which in that instance would have meant that 1,000 of the 2,000 would have gone for the children.
That's correct.
Okay. And as you said a moment ago, before somebody joins, that's explained to them so they know that a portion of their membership dues is going to support a charity.
And they would get a tax break.
Correct, of course. if they wanted to.
That's correct.
Okay. And clip number 5. You want to have that, Stephen, please? Now that's, again, similar to the last clip we saw. Do you see Mr. Spector there walking off the curb?
Yes, sir.
And you see him walking across, and does it appear to you that
Miss
Ms.
anything
Clarkson
good?
is there in front of him?
Yes, sir.
Now, right there, Mr. Spector and Ms. Clarkson are talking, correct?
Yes, sir.
Abby, what's up?
Ms. Clarkson is quite a tall Mr. Spector in that photo, doesn't it?
Yes, she is.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. And then we see Mr. Spector
gotta
and
do dishes
Ms.
also.
Clarkson walking off to the right in front of the Ryder truck, correct?
Yes, sir.
For the record, RYDER. Okay, we see Mr. Spector getting in the car, don't we? In a
Oh,
moment.
Jersey Gin's on the wheel. Jersey Gin does fucking roll. Welcome in, everybody. Chris Dewitt's in the house. What's up, brother?
Mr. Spector gets in on the right, correct? And Ms. Clarkson is escorted by the driver to the left side, and the door is open. She gets in, and the door is closed, correct?
That's correct.
And once again, I would ask you, from the moment you saw Mr. Spector enter the screen on the clip to the moment that you observed him to enter the rear portion of the vehicle, you did not see him stumbling or fall, correct?
I did not.
And you saw him have to step off that curb, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then the vehicle drives away, is that correct?
Yes.
Let's, if we could, put back up on the screen. Jim, you have the photo, that photo that we saw earlier with the staircase, the
Gotcha,
outside.
Gil. Gotcha. Welcome in here, Irene. Dave, I see a lot of people rolling through here right now. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, we're rolling through another Tuesday Night Murder Church. As you do come through, please hit that like. Please share this out. I posted this on X. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. We've had one will spin here tonight. Will we have another? All right, Gail won the first one. There you can see this creepy bastard is still rocking his Shag Beatles-esque wig and then staring at everybody like this dude right here. It's a creepy bastard. Continuous live shot only provided by Murder Church exclusively. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to save that chili for after I get off here. It's going to be extra good. I'm going to be starving.
There. Now, again, please help me, sir.
Where's the pickles? Everybody coming in right now.
Not the Sunset entrance.
Laura.
That is not the Sunset entrance.
Come in,
That's
everybody.
the entrance around the side where the street goes down, correct?
That is what we call the foundation entrance.
Okay. Help me. What is the street name?
Well, there is no street name, for lack of a better term, because it's private property.
There is
so
no street name. It's the name of it,
it's actually House of Blues is on Sunset Boulevard and on Olive. So going into the parking lot, it's off Olive Street, so we called it the Olive entrance.
And Olive Road's in a north-south direction.
That's right. I'll say that multiple times a day in my real life, just all the time. Let's rock.
Entrance, the Olive entrance.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to borrow for a step on your words.
John,
Yes.
his voice is really going down. I just have a hard time hearing.
I'll speak.
Okay, if you can right into the microphone, we'll have a lot better luck. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. Use the microphone just like you use
block
it.
his
Okay.
line of vision.
All right. And as I understand it, Olive runs in the north-south direction, correct?
That's correct.
And Sunset east and west.
Yes, sir.
So it's the southeast corner that the House of Blues is on of Olive and Sunset.
That's correct.
And Olive, if I'm correct, it is downhill, correct? It's
Yes,
not
sir.
a level street.
Not at all.
And it's a fairly, it's not steep like Mount Everest, but it's a fairly steep street going down, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In a southerly direction.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this entrance is the separate special entrance for members of the foundation, correct?
That is correct.
And as Mr. Jackson said, if somebody like me went there, I couldn't get in, right? I'd have to come around the other side on Sunset.
He said I couldn't get in.
All right, neither one of you can do it.
Oh, do you live near his house, Irene? Or do you live near the castle?
You notice I did use the judge's example on that.
Nor would
Jersey Jan, you're on this wheel twice right now. All right, babe? Thanks to Jay and Gail. All right? That's awesome.
So, As I understand it, at some point in the evening, there's an elevator that takes people up to the foundation because it's 3 flights up, correct?
That's correct.
And as I understand it, at some point, that elevator, its service is terminated during the evening, is that right?
That's correct.
And that's about kind of like around 2 o'clock-ish, a little bit before?
Around 2 o'clock.
Okay. If Mr. Spector and his guests were to have arrived at this entrance to the House of Blues in the early morning hours at February 3rd, 2003, and the elevator had been turned off for the evening, okay? And he and his guests wanted to go to the foundation room. There's only one way to get up there, short of sprouting a pair of wings, right?
The original the original wheel winner, baby.
Correct.
And that's to negotiate the stairs, which we see almost dead center in this image on the screen, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, it looks to me like the stairs has a banister, correct?
On both sides, yes.
On both sides. And these are, what, wooden stairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the vehicle stops, let's say, right where the red approximately,
Welcome in here.
people get out, and it's after 2 o'clock, and the elevator is shut down. I'd like you to take a moment and, for the benefit of the jury, walk us
what's
through
up?
how Mr. Spector and his guests would have had to go up those stairs to get up to the foundation.
That's assuming that there was not somebody on the inside, because up those, I think there's 4 stairs, you can go straight or you can make a harsh right. If you make a harsh right, you're up the staircase. If you go straight, within 1 foot is...
Chris, have you seen the live shot that we have at all times? At all times, only at Murder Church, I was lucky enough to get this shot right here of the ghoul with the wig and all. Crypt Keeper, Phil Spector.
Is kind of the entrance to the elevator bay, and there's a security guard that stands there.
Let's assume, for the sake of this question, that the elevator bay has been turned off for the evening, and Mr. Spector and his guests desire to go up to the foundation. And let's assume further that an employee of the House of Blues offers to escort them up. So now we have to make a harsh right, as you described it, and go up the stairs, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the first thing we see is that they would have to negotiate is the curb, and then walk across the sidewalk area, or entrance area. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, as I see it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Walk up those steps, and then make a right. And it appears that you can just faintly see what looks like maybe a post for the railing there in the dark area. Do you see that?
Yes, sir, I see it.
And that's where the stair is, right? The stairway.
That is a stairway.
And then up you go, correct?
That's correct.
Do you know, you may not know this, and it's not a trick question, do you know how many steps there are from the foyer or entrance area once you get up those 4 steps until you get to the first landing?
I could give you an approximation, but I couldn't give you an exact number.
20, something like that?
25,
25.
maybe 25.
And then you get to a landing, correct?
Yes, sir.
This guy
And-
sucks. I got 2.
My first time. There we go. That's the landing, correct, right in there?
That's correct.
Okay. And so they come up here, make a harsh right, and go up to the first landing. Then the stairway, excuse me, not the landing, sir. The pathway then leads from here in that direction, going towards the...
What's up, Oasis Cat?
Yes, sir.
And that's what, 10 steps, 8, 10 steps, something like that?
Probably 6 to 8.
Okay. And then there's another stairway that goes up to, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's again about 25 steps?
No, that's probably more like 8 to 10. It's quite short.
Okay. And then there's a landing which we can't see because this wall blocks it, isn't that right?
That's correct.
So there's a landing there approximately, and then you turn and come this way
Correct.
to negotiate the next set of steps.
Yes, sir.
And that's again about 8 or 10 feet?
That's probably a little bit more.
12 feet, 15 feet?
Yeah.
All right. And then we get to this set of steps, and we go up this set of steps to this landing here, right?
Yes.
On this stairway here, or this stairway, how many steps?
I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to try to get in there.
say there are.
Could you do that one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure. Once you hit the landing here, you make a left turn, and then you're here at the base, and you start to go up these steps here. My question is, how many steps approximately from here to here?
It was about 15.
Okay. And then when you finally achieve that, and you're up on this landing here, you make a left and walk again towards the building across the landing. Right?
Correct.
That's another, what, 10, 12 feet, something like that?
Yes.
Okay, and then you negotiate another 6 steps, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how many steps on that stairway there, Mr. Berry?
Probably the same, 10, 15.
And then when you get up at the top, there's a platform, right? Or a landing area?
Yes.
And you hang it right?
Yes, sir.
I have a super obscure. I said it on one episode, but I have a super obscure reference for who I think he looks like.
Into the
Let's
foundation.
see if I can.
You gain access into a hallway, and then there will be
And the foundation room is off the hall.
off the left side, yes.
You've been up and down those stairs many times.
Oh, yes.
Okay. If you walk it at a normal pace, I'm not saying jogging up or running up it, or as they do sometimes, they have these races where people run all the way up these stairs and these huge high rises, but just walking up with somebody, talking with somebody at a casual pace, what would you think? 2, 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to get up to the top?
Yeah. Probably 90 seconds to 2 minutes, if you take your time for talking.
90 seconds to about 2 minutes if you take your time and you're not in a hurry. Is that yes?
You know, I've done it so many times, I've done it as short as probably 15, 20 seconds to a minute. You know, it really depends upon
Okay.
you.
But if, as you said, if you're taking your time and maybe you're speaking with somebody and you're just having a casual evening, 90 seconds to about 2 minutes.
Maybe 90 seconds, yeah.
Oh my god. All right, so I think Phil Spector looks like this creepy fucking kid from an Italian horror movie called Burial Ground. Hold on. Can I get this in here to where you can actually see it pretty decently? What the fuck? This fucking kid, dude. This fucking kid right here is who I think Phil Spector looks like. He's this incredibly creepy kid from this movie called Burial Ground. It's an Italian horror movie. And that's the vibes that I get from this dude. And like, he has this like weird, it's a very strange horror movie, but like he's obsessed with his mother, and he'll like, anytime he's obviously, I'm pretty sure the actor that played this was an adult male, but he, you know, obviously older, but he plays like a child in this movie. And anytime anything scary happens, he clutches his mother and says, "Mommy," or "Mama," and it's fucking creepy as shit. And that is the vibes that I get from fucking this, from this dude. Like, so just to see exactly where I'm at.
This. When the sun goes down, I'm not going to say when the moon comes up, but when the sun goes down and it's dark, how are those stairs lit?
Oh shit, Gail's coming through with another one. Gail's getting on the wheel this time with her shirt in hand and giving it out to Chris, man. Chris, dude, you have, now that you're membered up and you just got gifted out of membership, what you need to go do is check out on the exclusive member-only videos. There's 2 really dope ones. One is me and my buddy eating a couple of weeks ago in a restaurant that used to be a funeral home in a town that's close to us, which is now this restaurant, and it was built in like 1890, a bunch of dope stuff. It's a really crazy vibe. And there's another video of Dan's big fat fucking deck. So yeah, go check those out. Thank you, Gail, so much. Gail's out here giving it up tonight. Huh? Huh? Get me on this motherfucker wheel, baby.
I can tell you, if you want to, each landing has a different set of lights.
Okay. And the lights are, it's kind of a light bulb affair, isn't it?
Let me check the apps too real quick.
The top one on the tin roof next to the window, there's a light there. And then
You can always
underneath,
scan up there the PB tree that goes to directly to Venmo, Cash App. There's the buy me the coffee stuff in there.
each landing, I guess for lack of a better term, would be another light fixture.
Venmo and Cash App though,
There, and
those
each
are definitely the
stair has
recommended way.
got white tape on them.
Okay, and that's for patrons or whoever, employees, who's ever using the steps to make sure that they can see where they're going so they don't stumble or trip, correct?
Correct.
House of Blues doesn't want a lawsuit of somebody going up the stairs, correct?
Not anymore.
Okay. And do you weren't there, but do you, well, I was going to ask you if you knew whether the lighting was working that evening or if it was even on, but you weren't there, so you wouldn't know.
I would be informed if it wasn't, but I was not informed.
Okay, so you presume that it was working that night?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about another area here, please. You indicated, sir, that the Foundation Room is a private club, is that right?
It is a private membership club.
Private membership club. And you use the term Hollywood's A-list.
That's correct.
All right. For those of us in the room who aren't on the A, B, or C.
I did taste that chili when I went upstairs, and it was amazing. It was freaking amazing. And that's one thing that's going to be coming to Patreons first and then members, but Spaced Out Cookboy, which is something, it's another moniker that I used to do before I went full-time into what I do now. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of cooking, but it's only going to be for the family, all right? It's only going to be for the family. So I have a poll right now exclusively for the Patreons, and that's for free members and the paid members. You guys can vote to see. I think I have 4 different options on there right now, and Grill and Chill is winning right now. So I'll probably be filming that maybe this weekend, actually. Tayo Toys, get the hell in here.
C-list. Would you tell the jury what the A-list is? What does that mean?
Sarah, get in here. Get in
Yes,
here.
for the idea behind it.
MJ coming through.
The creation of the room
What's up,
was
guys?
created for an area for the music industry and the film industry to be able to have an area to go and stay a little bit away from the general public so that they wouldn't have so many people coming up to them and tapping them on the shoulder and asking them for autographs. We did open the membership to other people other than the A-list people, but we tried to make sure that the integrity of the room had the right vibe to it, for lack of a better term.
Some privacy, correct?
Yes.
Kind of an area where they could relax and more or less be themselves.
A place for them to relax that wasn't so loud with the music hall.
Okay. You used a phrase when Mr. Jackson asked you a question. You said, I think if I'm wrong, you correct me. The philosophy was to treat them with kid gloves. And then Mr. Jackson asked you to define that. And on your direct examination, what you said was that their experience would exceed their expectations.
That's correct.
Okay? Once again, I'm going to ask you to turn to the jury and explain to them what the House of Blues meant by that.
When you're dealing with lots of the people that we were dealing with within the Foundation Room, high net worth people, individuals of fame and stature, and routinely we would ask our staff to make sure that you greeted them by name if possible, if you knew who they were. Make sure that if you knew their drink or their favorite item, to become more personal with them so that they felt like they were in a friendly base, a friendly place. And many of them came often, so it became a kind of a first name basis with lots of the celebrities that would frequent the room. So it would make sure that it was personal, but yet professional at the same time, not overly friendly.
Okay. And no matter who came in the Foundation Room, whether it was somebody on the A-list, somebody who was famous, somebody who was a celebrity, or if they happened to bring a guest
Gotcha, Gil. Jersey Gin on this son of a bitch
in
3
that category of
times.
individual,
Oh.
the treatment was the same, correct?
We did our best.
Okay. So if Mr. Spector had shown up to the House of Blues on February 3rd in the early morning hours with a guest, and that guest might not be on the A-list in Hollywood, but was just a person like me or you or anyone else, that person was going to get the
What's
same
up,
kind of
dude?
treatment as Mr. Spector.
Come in here, brother.
If they had the proper credentials.
Sure, if they got let into the Foundation Room.
If they had the wristband that would identify that they were part of the membership or put on the guest list by one of the members.
Okay. And I would imagine that when the House of Blues would instruct its employees who work the foundation room, whether it's security or hostess or server or waiter or whatever category that individual fit into. Each and every one of those people were instructed in this philosophy, correct?
That was our goal, yes.
Okay. And you achieved that goal very well, didn't you, when you worked at the House of Blues?
I believe we did.
Okay. It was your impression from working there as the general manager for 7 years. You got good reviews about that from your patrons in the foundation room, correct?
Often.
Yes.
It's a good one too, Dizzy. Very Chucky Dollish. Those vibes are.
Now, as I understand it, you indicated
hard,
that
actually.
Lana Clarkson was hired to be a door host. Is that correct?
That's correct.
She would have been hired by Human Resources, correct?
Well, Human Resources would have done their paperwork, but she would have been hired by myself.
Okay. Did you hire her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You indicated she was hired as a door host. Her responsibilities were a bit of security and a bit of customer relations. Is that right?
That's correct.
Just act natural. Just. Okay.
In the
Perfect.
paperwork, which you had a chance to look at, did it indicate that Lana Clarkson was hired as security only? It did, didn't it?
It said door host / security.
Okay. We talked about how in the one clip, I think it was clip 5, that when you saw Mr. Spector standing in front of Miss Clarkson and Miss Clarkson in front of Mr. Spector, there was certainly a height difference. Miss Clarkson was a tall lady, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
She was over 6 feet, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
And
there was something
she
going on with that one
statuesque.
witness
I mean,
in
she
Phil
wasn't
still.
a wispy individual. She actually was quite
That shit was weird.
statuesque, for lack of a better term. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
She had a physicality about her, didn't she?
Objection, that's made.
I'll allow it if the witness feels he can answer it.
You can answer.
I don't understand physicality.
Did she have a certain
Rosin,
presence?
if you can never say
Absolutely.
physicality ever
And,
again, you fucking asshole.
I don't mean
that'd be
this
great.
necessarily in terms of weight. I'm confining it just to, I'm going from your last question. She was a large
Say nothing
person,
even in
physically.
comparison to that.
Not only tall, but she was broad-shouldered.
Statuesque
He's gonna get
would be the
there.
term I would use.
Okay. And Mr. Spector, you wouldn't describe him with those terms, would you? It's okay.
No, I would not.
Okay. Mr. Spector, you would describe as a slight individual, correct?
Yes,
Okay, about 5'4", 5'5", something like that?
I would assume so.
Okay, very thin.
Yes.
Okay. So there was no question that when you looked at that clip, that purely from a physical point of view, Miss Clarkson was a much larger human being, a much larger individual than Mr. Spector, correct?
Yes.
May I have the court's indulgence for a moment, please? Jen, do we have the schedule? Would you please ask you for that? Okay. Let's take a moment, if we can. Your Honor, may I continue? Because
Yes.
I'll try and...
Oh, I think
So
he
we can
definitely
finish with
had
the witness.
some
I'd like to do that.
Okay, I'll try.
tiny man syndrome,
Let's
some
take a look at
Napoleon
this one moment, if we could. All right.
complex issues going on.
Can you go to the first page before that, please?
I think that's why he brought the guns
This
out.
is entitled Foundation Schedule, and you, sir, as general manager, you're very familiar with this
I want
document.
him to feel like a bigger man.
And if we take a look
And
at
what
it,
does that?
It's basically the schedule of the individuals that are
You know, what intimidates someone if they're not physically imposing and they want to keep someone there? Fucking firearm.
whether they're a manager or a bartender or security or a server or whatever, or a cocktail.
up?
or whatever,
Get in here.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And if we take a look at this, we see the names on the left.
Just for reference, when I say get in here, like, and I've jumbled all this up. When I say get in here, I just picture myself, we're at the church doors and I grab you and I pull you in. You're in now.
Then basically the category that the individual fits, the profile that the individual fits, and then the time, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And this is for the week of Monday, January 27th to Sunday, February 7th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jen, may we have the next page, please? Okay, for the record, Your Honor, Pat.
For whatever reason, like, I can, go behind the scenes here and see kind of what's going on YouTube, and every single time like I go back here and peek, it's when I did the wheel spin for whatever reason, which is super random because that takes 2 seconds before I switch back scenes. And I've done that multiple times now, and I just seen the last one. Like, it's always behind. Literally, it's like 37 minutes behind. And that's when the wheel spin happened. And and it's hilarious because I watched myself. Like, you can see me in the TV there. I was just, like, waiting for I was like, oh, shit, Gail, let's go.
Page 287. I just referred to, we're now on 288. All right. Okay. Taking a look at 288, I want you to take a look at the second category.
Jersey Jen, get on that wheel again.
You see that?
Yes,
Jersey
sir.
Jen's going to fill this thing up.
Fourth
Let's
name
go.
down. Do you see that name?
Thank you, Pam.
Can you highlight that, Jen, please? Thank you so much. Can you blow it up? Sophia, am I pronouncing it right? Holkeen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is Sophia Holkeen?
Sophia was one of my foundation room cocktailers.
Okay. And she worked there that night, do you remember?
Yes, sir, she did.
Okay, and you can see that on the schedule?
Yes.
Jake, can you bring that back and show the schedule there for her, please? A little larger, please. That's it? Okay. From looking at that, which Jen has now highlighted for you, Mr. Berghammer, can you tell us when Sophia started working that day? Was it we'll say February 2nd, that's Sunday?
If it's highlighted in the last set,
The last column?
It says 10 p.m. That
10
means
p.m. So that would be when she came on.
that would be correct.
And what would be her normal time that she would get off?
The goal would be, between 2 and 3 a.m.
Okay, so she comes to work Saturday at 10 p.m. and she, if the goal is achieved, leaves 2 to 3 a.m.
Dude, Chris, if you haven't seen any other episodes of this or any of this trial yet, dude, I think 4 different women have come forth now. I think it's 3. I think the 4th one was kind of weird. Like, she was kind of like still in his pocket in a weird way. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but the first 3 all had very similar stories because we know how Lana died. She ended up with a gunshot through the mouth, through the back of her head. All of these women have the same story. When they tried to leave, he would hold them at gunpoint to keep them there because he didn't want to be alone for the night. And one woman even got sexually assaulted in a hotel. Like, it's a pattern with him. He does the same thing over and over. Like, so making him seem any kind of way besides a piece of shit at this point, like, I don't know. It's going to be hard. And I know how this one ends, and I'm sure other folks do as well. But
The following morning, correct?
That's correct.
That's
crazy, dude.
And do you know whether or not Sophia Holkeen worked that day?
She did.
Okay. And let's go down
Is he praying? He's definitely
to
not.
security. And under the section entitled Security, you see the second name there. Jane, can you blow the second name up, please?
Dude, it was fucking, the vibe was insane.
Okay. The first name is Joshua Buxbaum, correct?
That's correct.
Now, Jen has highlighted for you in yellow the second name. And who is that individual?
Euphrates.
And what was Euphrates' position in the morning hours of February 3rd, 2003 at the House of Blues?
He was one of our security/store hosts in the foundation hallway.
Okay, so he worked the hallway, not the actual room.
Not the actual room.
And that would have been a position where he would have been one of the first individuals once either the stairs or the elevator were accomplished and the people got upstairs. He would have seen them.
It could be. There were 2 positions in the hallway. There was one directly in front of the door that would have you go into the foundation room, and then one all the way at the end of the hallway on the sunset porch side.
Okay. And there's other names up there, and Jim, would you go to the second name from the bottom? And now Jen has lit up the name Lana Clarkson, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And she's classified under security, correct?
That's correct.
And Jen, if we could have the rest of the exhibit back, please. You already told us that on Sunday, it shows 6 p.m. to top. And you told us what that means is that she came in and started at 6 o'clock, and top meant door of the foundation room,
That's correct.
Yeah,
And I think you also indicated that it showed that she punched in at 6:02,
That's correct.
and she punched out at 2:21.
Yes, sir.
That was almost perfect
the House of
timing. Fuck that one
Blues
up.
serves and sells alcoholic beverage, correct?
That's correct.
Because of that, in February of 2003, there were certain policies in place regarding whom you would serve alcohol to. Isn't that true? For example, if a minor...
Shit. 5 memberships gifted out by Shiraz here. Let's see who gets those sons of bitches here. As we're how much more we got much left of this. We're at 9:30 here. Been rocking and rolling. Thanks everyone for hanging and banging. I know a lot of people came in later on this one. Shiraz gifted out 5. Who's going to get those? Heather Fitzgerald, Julia Terranova, Mustang Driver, who's been hanging out, which I love. Fat Baby Toodles, who was a fucking mainstay here, even if they're lurking. Fat Baby Toodles rules. And Lady Mook, new name. Welcome in here. And yeah, anytime we have new members, and I already see them rolling through right now, probably nothing. You see those little tornadoes? Those aren't little tornadoes. If you look closely, I'm not going to say what they are. Maybe I will say what they are. Maybe they're a little joint, maybe a little joint. Then some beers and some hell yes. You put the liquor drinks out there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here. Let's go. Let's go. And yeah, Shiraz just got on this motherfucking wheel.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Let's go. Let's go. We don't play around. We not messing around, baby.
Somebody underage came in.
Thank you so much, Shiraz. Appreciate that.
No server in the House of Blues was going to be permitted to serve a minor alcohol.
That's correct.
If a person came in, for example, to the House of Blues and was extremely disruptive, you had the option whether to serve that individual or not, correct?
That's correct.
And one of the very clear rules was that if the server determined that the patron was inebriated, drunk, they were not to serve them for liability reasons, correct?
In the bottom 2 floors, on the 3rd floor, we asked them to get a manager to handle them.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to say this again. All new members, go check out the members only 2 videos that you have access to and get ready for more of those.
And the top
Let's
floor,
get
the foundation
going.
room, same thing. You would not serve somebody who was inebriated or drunk,
Sons
correct?
of
That's
bitches.
correct.
That's awesome. They've made Cutler kind of chill out, right? He's kind of just like taking a seat after he basically got into a full-on fight with Judge Diehard that one episode. They haven't really let him back up again. They're like, maybe you should just chill out. Just calm her down.
Hold up! Hold up! Hold up!
Jen, could you please put up the receipt? Mr. Berghammer, we're gonna take a look at the receipt here, okay? And you've already told us about this. I just want to review a couple of areas, and then I want to ask you about one other area. We can tell that these 2 documents, in some respects, mirror image each other, correct?
That is correct.
And we know that they fit
Fail.
together because Sophia has a employee number which appears on both documents. That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Her name appears on both documents, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the check number coincides, correct?
That's correct.
Can we have that all lit up, Jen, please? Thank you. The check number. That's it. And then you'll see the check number here. Please, like the 949 books.
Yes.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
5 brewskis passed out by Gail for them new moons.
We can take it off now,
That's what I'm
Jen.
talking about.
Take it off.
Oh my God, Johnny. You ain't even lying, dude.
If we take a look at this, we see from reading it, and you as the general manager, you've seen, what, thousands and thousands of texts like this, and documents like this, correct?
That's correct.
When you worked at Hospitals.
And still.
And, excuse me. Sudie, we got the wrong one.
Yes.
Technical difficulty, Your Honor.
All right.
There we go. Okay. That's fine, we can just use that. So if we take a look at this, now actually, I'm sorry, I need the other one. If we take a look at the right-hand side, you can see that there appears the words and numbers. 1 Baccard, which I assume stands for Bacardi, 151, which is wrong, correct?
That's correct.
And the charge is $8.50.
That's correct.
Okay, and then underneath that we see 1, and I'm assuming it's bar, bottled water, $5, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, just from looking at that, you cannot.
Today has been mostly a whole lot of fucking nothing. Jesus Christ.
Or the Bacardi rum was consumed. You can only tell us that somebody placed an order for that, the order was punched in, and...
Anybody here
it was an
believe that
all-right
Bill
delivery
Spector wasn't
date.
plastered
That's
that night?
correct.
Nope. Check.
And
Let's
total
move
cost
on.
of that-
Good
what we
fucking God.
Okay, well, that's our work. The total cost was $13.50, correct?
That's correct.
And what's the gratuity?
$450.
And do you have any personal knowledge as to how that $450 was to be paid and to whom?
It would be paid to the
His
to the
generous
waitress,
shipper,
which
no.
would be Sophia. And then she
I have a
would
theory
follow
that
our
he's
standard
always
tip-off
just sort of-
procedure, which would be a percentage to the bartender. and a
Which I'm joking, but at the same time, I feel like that he he realized that at one point in his life he's going to have a situation like this where a bunch of waiters are going to have to be on the stand. They're going to be like, you know what? He gave me $500. Like,
percentage to the bar back, and that's it.
Unless the patron, and in this case, Mr. Spector, directed or requested or asked Ms. Holkeen to pay certain portions of that gratuity to certain individuals. And then if that occurred, she would note that, wouldn't she?
I don't know if she would note it, but she would follow up on it.
Sure, she would follow the member's request.
Yes, sir.
So if the gratuity
Dude, that's
is a total
exactly what Phil
$450,
Spector is.
and
Like,
Mr.
that's
Spector directed
Phil
her to divide that
Spector.
among, just say, for example, 3 people or 4 people or 5 people, she would take that information and she would follow those instructions, correct?
he
She would go
expected
to the manager,
something.
then follow the instructions.
Okay, to make sure that the people he wanted to receive money got their tip.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know if that was done here? You can't tell from looking at that.
Can't
can you?
tell.
Okay, so maybe it was and maybe it wasn't. We need to talk to Ms. Holguin, right?
That would be correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I need 1 moment, please.
All right.
Of course. Mr. Berghammer, thank you for coming. Okay. Thank you for helping me today.
I don't like this dude at all. If anybody's familiar with this, and most of you are, I don't like Rosin whatsoever. Alan Jackson's gonna probably not do it.
Thank you for coming.
On behalf of everyone, thank you for coming.
We're
You're
into
directed not to
Burger
discuss
Church on
your
another
testimony with anyone except the
another.
attorneys here, subject to recall your excuse. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, keeping in mind the admonition, we'll resume tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. We're in recess. Thank you. All right, that's fine.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
That's right, baby. What are we going next? Just out of interest. 19 minutes. We might be able to do that, actually. Whoa, he continues his testimony. I thought they were done with him. They're not done. That was all a joke. Ha ha ha, just a ploy. Psych.
Welcome to the party, pal.
So, yeah, stick around with me. Let's bust out this 19 minutes. Let's keep going, folks. Let's do
Right,
it.
the defendant is present with his counsel. The district attorneys are
I
present.
like
The
to go to
jurors
10,
and
and
the
that's about
alternates are present.
perfect. I think Bob has another show here tonight. Also,
Ladies
so
and
we'll see if
gentlemen,
I
good
can't get
morning,
you pulled
and
over
I
right
want to
into him.
apologize for the delay this morning. I've been meeting in
I'm not crazy.
chambers with counsel. We've been going over some witness scheduling problems and order of witnesses that needed to be resolved before we proceeded today. I'm sorry it took so long, but these things will happen. Do you wish to recall a witness?
With the court's permission, Your Honor, we would ask Eric Berghammer to rejoin us, please.
All right.
Yeah. Boom. Going right in the bob.
All right, sir, you remain
I think
under
that's the
oath.
length of
Have a
case.
seat, please. Just state your name again for the record.
My name is Eric Berghammer.
Do you need a...
No.
Okay. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick questions for you. Thank you for joining us again this morning, Mr. Berghammer. Based on Mr. Rosen's cross-examination, yesterday he asked you if there were certain internal policies adopted by the House of Blues concerning serving individuals who may be intoxicated or who are thought to be intoxicated either slightly or more than slightly. And you indicated to Mr. Rosen that there were, in fact, policies that particular persons who were believed to be intoxicated were not to be served. And you indicated, I think, in your answer to Mr. Rosen's question that that was the case for the first and second floor. What's on the third floor?
The third floor was our foundation room.
Okay, my question to you is, are there any different rules that applied,
Penny's
or
like,
back in
"Let's
2003, were there any different rules
Let's
that
go."
applied for members of the foundation room?
Yes, sir.
Could you explain that for the jury, please?
We routinely had kind of our standard protocol where when people were either intoxicated and/or looking as if they had had a few too many drinks, that our normal member would be handled by a manager,
What's up,
but our
Mandy?
celebrity A-level member would it
Mandy
would
has
be
the
kicked
hottest
up
shirt
a
on,
notch to
Publicly
myself,
Buzzed.
and I would make a telephone call to our senior vice president of the music side of the business, our talent buyer, who then would give me instruction on how we would handle it.
Is there a reason why celebrity members of the foundation room were treated a little bit differently than an average member or an average patron at the House of Blues?
Well, it is LA, and I
15
think
months,
that
that's crazy,
from that
actually.
perspective,
Might be the longest.
there were kind of two levels of celebrities. There would be the A-level movie, TV industry type of celebrity, and then there'd also be the music industry
Him, an insane
celebrity who
supporter.
we had, for lack of a better term, a little bit more of a softer hand with because of punitive type of things that would happen if we didn't handle them correct. Because
What's the green banner called on YouTube? Green banner, I don't know.
they handled the bands, they handled kind of the touring routes and things, so it would require us to handle it more gingerly.
When you say punitive type of retribution, what do you mean by that?
Well, in occasion, we have
Me too.
either denied access to some of the music industry people for not being in proper dress code, and then they wouldn't sell us bands anymore.
And what was the result of that?
Significant loss of revenue to the venue and to the company.
Plainly speaking, pardon me, plainly speaking, if a server
I don't know what the official
saw
word
an
of-
well, let me ask you this first. Was Philip
Banner? I
Spector
don't-
considered
I
one
don't
of the
really know what
celebrity
that
members or A-list members?
Oh, absolutely.
If a server saw a celebrity member or an A-list member either come into the bar inebriated or slightly intoxicated or otherwise, would that server be allowed to simply cut the person off?
No, sir, we would not allow that.
Why?
We would ask them to bring it up a notch to
Bring
their
it up a
manager
notch?
and ultimately to myself because of
So
the
you're not
sensitivity
ever going
of
to
the
tell
level
Phil
of the
Spector
individual.
to stop.
There was a bigger play, I guess, for lack of a better term.
In your experience, notwithstanding the internal policy that
Membership
dictated,
milestones,
what happened
yes,
with normal
that's-
patrons, in your
that's-
experience
these
as a
people are
general
way
manager
smarter
of the
than me.
House
I
of
didn't know
Blues,
what those
were
were.
there times, Mr. Berghammer, when an A-list celebrity might be inebriated, might be intoxicated, yet the House of Blues, they wanted
Never.
to purchase more alcohol,
Cut him off.
and the House of Blues accommodated them?
Never cut him off.
Well, the answer to that question would be yes.
Was that uncommon for A-list or celebrity members?
Well, it was not uncommon, but we weighed in the factor of who was with them and how they would be transportation and kind of the entourage, I guess, for lack of a better term.
So if someone had a driver, for instance, that might be weighed in?
It would be, yes.
All right. In other words, I don't want to put too fine a point on this, but I guess my question is the following. Were A-list or celebrity members treated a little bit differently than the average Joe public?
Objection has been asked.
Overruled, the answer will stand.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Recross?
Yes, Manager Stevens.
Yes.
Of course. Little recross, why not? A little recross, if you will, baby. Rosin
Good morning,
can't
Mr.
help
Berghammer.
himself.
Good morning, sir.
He always wants the last word here.
I would say welcome back, but I assume you'd rather be somewhere else.
That would be correct.
As I understand it, you spoke with
poor
the prosecution
tar-
last night after court, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and they talked to you about this
Transportatic?
subject matter, is that right?
Transportated.
Yes, sir.
You and I didn't speak last night other than I shook your hand and said it was a pleasure to meet you, correct?
That is correct.
That's like a Steve word.
Now, as I understand it, and I want to go back a moment, the foundation room, which is upstairs on the third floor, is strictly a very private club area for celebrities, isn't that correct?
Not strictly. I mean, it is open to a vetting process for which anyone, yourself included, could apply for a membership.
But if I don't have the ticket, I'm not getting in, right?
Unless you were on the guest list from one of the members and/or the band.
Okay, so if I'm not, I can tell you I'll never play an instrument in my life. I'm terrible in music, but
Oh my God.
if I'm not a member of the band, if I'm not a guest of one of the
Hate this
members,
guy.
and I'm not a member, I'm not going to be given access to the foundation room and/or the Buddha room. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And as I understand your testimony, you have indicated here today that you had a little bit different hand in terms of the celebrities when they were in fact in the foundation room and whether or not they were inebriated or not. Isn't that correct?
That would be correct, yes.
And I think you indicated you handled it a little bit differently, had a little bit different policy, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's just talk about the policy in the foundation room for a moment, if we may. You indicated that you handled it more gingerly, with a softer hand. Is that your testimony?
That would be correct.
Right. And
Ricky
of course,
Quarterback
keeping in
has
mind
entered the
that,
chat on Murder Church.
The reason for that
What's up,
was
dude?
if, in fact, things didn't go well and you had patrons in the foundation room who were unhappy or dissatisfied, that could result in a significant loss of revenue to the venue and the company. That's what you said, right?
That would be correct, yes.
Right. Let me ask you this. If a patron, we'll strike that, if a member in the foundation room were to show signs of inebriation, to show signs of drunkenness, and the server were to pick that up, as I indicated, it was not his or her decision whether or not to serve that patron should that patron order another beverage. That decision then gets passed on, or as you said, I think, kicked up a notch to you, correct?
That would be correct, yes.
All right. And then you may make the decision, or you may even decide to kick it up to, I think you said, to somebody above you who was the senior vice president. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, of course, that evening you were not on premises, correct?
That is correct.
So obviously you weren't on premises. You didn't receive any phone calls from Sophia Holkeen that night, did you?
I did not.
Okay. Sophia Holkeen, you've already told us, was one of the waitresses or the servers that evening or that early morning hours of February 3rd of '03, correct?
Correct.
All right. You're a general manager. You were a general manager there for a long time. You've been in this business a long time. You're a veteran, correct?
Dude, I know, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A liquor license has to be obtained through the city, correct?
Through the ABC, yes.
Through the ABC. It's a very valuable license, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And businesses in general, and especially businesses like the House of Blues, they will seek to protect that license because that license is literally worth millions and millions of dollars on any given calendar year. Isn't that correct?
That would be correct.
And the reason for that is because without that license, you cannot sell liquor, correct?
Correct.
I'm assuming that the House of Blues receives a large portion of their revenues in any given calendar year from the sale of alcoholic beverage, correct?
Yes, sir.
To borrow a industry phrase, the markup, and I'm assuming you know what I mean by that, but the markup on alcohol is extremely profitable, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Therefore, the House of Blues...
That's Phil Friday, a.k.a.
especially when
Phil
you served
Friday.
the general manager in February of '03, was very careful about protecting that liquor license, correct?
That would be correct.
And you never know whether or not you've got somebody from the alcoholic beverage control on your premises that evening seeing what's going on, do you?
On the first 2 floors, correct.
Okay. And what about on the 3rd floor?
They would not be allowed in.
Okay. What if somebody from the alcohol and beverage control showed up with a badge and said, we're here to do a check. We're here to do a formal check. You could not refuse that, could you?
We would allow them in.
Yes, because that's part of the licensing process. In other words, before you get a license, they explain to you that they have a right to come in and check at any time of the day or night they want to, correct?
Absolutely.
And usually they don't phone you ahead, do they?
They do not.
Okay, they just show up, right?
And present us with documentation that's who they are.
Right, and if you're satisfied that they are the real deal, then you let them in and let them do what they want to do, correct?
Absolutely.
Because otherwise you may be in jeopardy of losing this license, which, as you say, is a significant revenue getter for the company and the venue, correct?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, you're very protective of that license. Isn't that true, Mr. Berghammer?
The company was, yes.
As general manager in February
I
of
don't give a
2003,
shit, bro.
you were familiar
company
with
did.
the California Business and Professionals Code Section 25602, weren't you?
I don't know it particularly, if you tell me what it is.
Let's take a look at it and see. Jen, may I have your help, please? Can you blow it up for us, please? This is a copy right out of the Business and Professions Code. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Could you read it, please, out loud?
Every person who sells, furnishes, gives, or causes to be sold, furnished, or give away any alcohol beverage to any habitual or commonly drunkard or to any obviously intoxicated person is guilty of a misdemeanor.
Okay, so there's basically, according to 25602, 3 different categories. Is that correct? The first category is anybody who is a habitual drunkard, correct?
Yes, sir.
Second category is anybody who is a common drunkard, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the third category is anyone who is obviously an intoxicated person, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you are cited, and when I say you, not you personally, of course, but if the company or the particular venue on Sunset Boulevard, the House of Blues,
God,
gets
this
cited
fucking
by the
guy's the reason it
Alcohol
took 6 months.
Beverage
Oh.
Control for a
I hate
violation
him.
of 25602 Business and Professions Code, this is not a good thing, is it?
That would be correct, yes.
And it could endanger the liquor license obtained from ABC, correct?
That is correct.
And therefore, it could endanger a huge amount of revenue over a 12-month calendar year. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
It would certainly be the House of Blues policy in February of 2003 to not violate the law, correct?
That would be the policy.
And it would further be the policy at that time to make sure that the servers, the waiters, the waitresses, and anybody else involved, bartenders, in the service of alcoholic beverage was familiar and aware of 25602.
There we fucking
Correct.
go.
Correct.
Good Lord.
And you as the general manager made sure, because basically the buck stopped with you, didn't it?
Let's see if I can
Something
find
went
some
wrong.
interviews
You
already.
made sure that these people were
It's
aware
got
of that,
my
correct?
interest peaked now that you're mentioning
It
that.
actually fell one level
Actually.
above me, but I was one of the individuals that was responsible, yes.
Court's indulgence for a moment, please.
May-
Mr.
All we had
Berghammer,
was
just one final
court
question.
Indulging you fucking.
You were totally unaware of the circumstances of Mr. Spector's presence
Ricky was like,
on premises in the early morning hours
he
of
just
that
popped in
Sunday
for a
in
minute,
February.
hanging out in
correct?
the church. He started burning
you
to
say that
death.
one
Do you
more
need
time?
the church, Ricky?
At that time,
Ricky, you
on
need
February
the
3rd,
church.
2003, you were not familiar with the circumstances of Mr. Spector's presence on premises. You only learned about anything that went on after the fact. Isn't that correct?
Correct, the next morning.
Thank you, sir.
There he is. He's still hanging
The
and
House of
banging,
Blues
baby.
on
He's
Sunset
still
is
in
the
here.
signature company.
Thought he got
for
caught on
the
fire.
signature
He called in the
location
church and
for
just
the
went
company,
up
is
in
it not?
flames.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Matt.
There's a
Would you
giant
define
fucking gnat, dude.
the
It's
House of
fucking like
Blues
the
as
size
a
of
rock
like
and
an
roll
ant.
venue?
Oh, yes.
Was it important for this rock and roll venue,
keyboard.
this signature or flagship venue of the House of Blues, to maintain that odorless,
What's fatter than
colorless, intangible called vibe?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Question's compound and it's vague.
Ant-sized
Yes, sir.
gnats.
It was
That's
very
a
important.
50s
Were
B
the
movie.
servers told or instructed to help maintain that vibe?
Yes, sir.
Where was it most important in the Sunset House of Blues to maintain that rock and roll, that high profile vibe?
On the 3rd floor.
If your servers consistently and constantly were cutting off these high profile celebrity patrons because they thought their BAC might be above a .08, do you think it would have had any impact on that rock and roll vibe?
Objection calls for speculation, no foundation.
Overruled. I believe he does have a foundation to answer that. No pun intended. You may answer.
Could you ask it again? I'm sorry.
Probably not.
Well done, though, however.
Yeah, nicely done, Roger. Nicely done. If servers constantly or consistently were cutting off patrons whom they believed had above a .08 blood alcohol content, might it have had some stilting effect on that rock and roll vibe that you described as being so important?
Yes, sir, it would have.
Would be devastating to the foundation room portion of the company, correct?
Objection, leading, suggestion.
Overruled. You may answer.
That's how he scratches his nose.
It would definitely make it very difficult for that room to sustain what it was.
As a matter of fact, these high-profile celebrities paid for the option to be a member of the foundation room so that they could, in the words of Burger King, have it their way, correct?
It's argument of the rules.
I think that calls for some speculation. The objection is sustained.
I know.
Thank you. Recross.
Mr. Berghammer, you are not suggesting here this morning, are you, that the House of Blues embraces a policy of breaking the law for celebrities on the third floor of the Sunset venue inside the foundation room or the Buddha room, are you?
The answer to that question is that I'm not suggesting it. I am just merely stating that the way we handled celebrities was different than the general public.
You're not saying, are you, that if in fact a server or you as the general manager
can do whatever
or
the fuck they want.
senior vice president determines
probably the majority of
that
places.
somebody
Let's
in
be
fact,
real.
Jen, can I have that back up, please? Is either, let me see if I can remember it.
You know what's even
Either
worse
a
now?
habitual
Social
drunkard,
media
a common
influencers probably
drunkard,
have that same
or obviously
fucking vibe.
inebriated. You're not telling us, are you, that you will still go ahead and serve that individual, even if that individual is a celebrity? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that that would be kicked up to a higher level and they would make the decision.
Presumably, the decision would always be not to violate 25602 of the Business and Professions Code. Isn't that true? You wouldn't knowingly violate the law of California, would you, as an employee at the House of Blues?
I would allow my bosses to make that decision.
He's saying if you're fucking Phil Spector or one of these celebrities, you can do whatever the fuck you want at the compound. That is the House of Blues at this point in time. Come on.
Your boss is
You're losing here,
maintaining a higher
Rosin. Shut the
position
fuck up. You're
for
actually
the
not even
company,
helping.
correct? Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ.
You don't have any particular knowledge, do you, that one of your bosses at that time, whoever your boss or bosses were in February of '03, would permit this to go on, a direct violation of California law? Can you answer that, please?
Objection. That seems to call for speculation.
If he can answer it, do you think you can answer that question? Do you have the knowledge?
I don't have the knowledge.
All right, the objection is sustained.
You are not suggesting, are you, sir, that the vice president who you report to, knowingly in February of 2003, told you to turn a cheek the other way and go ahead and break the law?
In February?
Yes, of 2003.
I can't particularly tell you that date, but I can tell you that we handled celebrities different.
Okay, thank you very much.
He's,
All right, subject to recall your excuse, thank you very much for being here and for coming back. Your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Sophia
what the hell is he about to go film a fucking kung fu movie? What the shit? All right, let's see how long the next one is. 46 minutes. What do we got next here? Probably someone that's been gunned down by Phil Fuckface. No, House of Blues waitress Sophia Hoolgan takes the stand, and we'll start there on Murder Church on Sunday morning before we head out here, and I send you over to Bob's late 10 o'clock show. Let me go through some love here. Been a lot of it here tonight, and a lot of will. We had one will spin, one win with that with Gail, and we got another one filling up. Let's come back on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Dan, Ricky Cougar back in the chat will be here. Pam, thank you for coming through with the $4.99. Gail coming through with the $5. Gail gifting out a membership, and also Pokemon saying, yo, I've been here for 9 months. What's up? Catgro, $3 highlight coming through. What's up? Sweet Lou gifting out one of them bad boys. And Mosh said, what's up? 16 months? Oh, shit. That might be the longest. 16 months of beers to it. Let's go. Fuck. Oh, Spring $9.99. Jay said, yo, throw Jersey Gin on that son of a bitch for $5. Gail said, throw Jersey Gin on that son of a bitch for $5. Let's go. And then Laura said, 13 months, Tuesday, Murder Church, we ain't doing shit in this motherfucker about dancing. Phil Spector out here just throwing weird faces at us. Gail gifting one out. Cat Girl gifting one out. Pammy saying $1.99. Jersey Jen on the wheel. Let's go. And then Sheraz said, you know what? I ain't fucking around either. 5 of them. 5 new members. All new members. Make sure you go and check out the videos here on Publicly Buzzed. You're going to love that shit. And then also, Gail said, I've got 15 months up in this son of a bitch. Love PB. Let's go. I'm sending you over right fucking now to Bob Mata, to the Vince Diaries late night show, 10 p.m. Eastern time. At least that's where I'm at. Wherever time you're at. Wherever in the world, baby. Let's go. See you Thursday night. Let's go.
This verse